Hello, everyone. Welcome to Five Questions. I'm Todd Capps on behalf of the Common Table Foundation. And I'm very happy today to be joined by Yasmin Sallak, who we met last year. It's nice to see you again, Yasmin.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
Yeah. So 5 questions. We'll just start. Question number 1 for Yasmin. What do you stand for?
What do I stand for? I would say I stand for three things, which are actually emphasized by my faith, Islam. I stand for truth, by being honest and also looking for truth through my faith and by always learning about the people and world around me. I stand for compassion as the way to treat others. And I stand for justice by always standing up for the oppressed and by fighting against oppression.
Fantastic. Thank you. Question number 2. Tell us a brief story of a turning point in your life, and why was it significant?
Okay, I think this was the hardest question for me to answer, but I guess this isn't really like a story, but kind of like a new realization and like shift in perspective in my life. I would say in 2013, I kind of like realized that there's so much for me to learn in life, and just like how little I know. And so I kind of like shifted my perspective on the role of social media in my life. So shifted it kind of from mostly sharing about myself to kind of being more quiet and listening and learning about other people. I just feel like social media is such a powerful tool, especially about, for learning about others and social issues. And so I just feel like I'm kind of more of a student during this period of my life. So I'm kind of using it more as a tool for learning.
Fantastic. There's many things that I could say in response to that, which we'll say for a time when we have a little bit longer conversation than this. But
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'll just say I appreciate that answer very much.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a place for, sharing. That's definitely valuable to share with people that you care about, and it's very important to speak up about important issues. You should always do that. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot for us to learn, and we don't know everything, so it's better just to mostly learn.
Well, good, very good. Okay, thank you. Question number 3. What problem must be solved?
What problem must be solved? Okay, there's a lot of problems that must be solved. So the way that I figured out how to answer this one is kind of thinking about one general way to solve a lot of issues. So I would say a problem to be solved is kind of moving away from a more individualistic mindset and lifestyle to more of a community-oriented one. And so I would say, it's important for us to know that our neighbors' struggles are our own, and, there has to be a place in our lives to help one another. And, we can't solve everything by ourselves, but most, problems that are happening in the world need everyone to cooperate in order for us to solve those issues. Personally, I feel like it's our obligation to help other people, and to care about other people. So a couple of recent examples that we can think about, coronavirus, for example, we're supposed to stay home not only just to protect ourselves from getting sick, but to also make sure that we're not spreading the virus to other people. And just, the country has to work together in order for us to, beat this virus. Another one is Black Lives Matter. So even if you're not Black, you might think that that's not, your own issue or something that you deal with. But, racism is systemic. And so we all do play a part, especially if we aren't doing anything about it. So moving more towards a community-oriented mindset will kind of help us make sure that, Black Lives Matter is a personal issue to us, even though the oppression doesn't really apply to us.
Do you think, you mentioned cooperation being essential. Do you think that cooperation or even mutual understanding is achievable in these areas? And if
I
so,
think
how? What do you think is the key to the mutual understanding that may be necessary?
it's definitely achievable, but I think everybody has to realize again that there's a lot for us to learn, and everybody has their own blind spots, and we have to acknowledge that. And nobody's perfect, and so we just have to be open to changing and listening to other people and kind of learning about how we might be negatively affecting society, and then being open to how we can change ourselves.
Mhm. And there's kind of a third part to this question, which is, what are you doing about this problem or challenge? What are you doing about it personally?
About the individualistic to community oriented.
Yes.
I think that's something I committed to a few years back. I mean, I feel like I've always been involved in, advocating for social justice, and I do feel like it's my duty to be involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, I have blessings that I'm very thankful for,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, use those as an excuse to just, be happy and go about my life. Just because I have food at home doesn't mean that everybody else does. And so I need to be mindful of that. And it's just something that, I kind of use, the good things that I have in my life as reminders that, because those are my blessings, now I have an obligation to share them.
Very good. Question 4, moving right along. Tell us about a key mentor in your life, and how was this person important?
Okay, I have 2 key mentors, and they're my parents. So I would say my dad is a key mentor in my life because he's always taught me about the importance of being a lifelong student, and just how much, you can always make room to learn about anything, whether you major in one thing, in college, you can learn about everything else, and you do have the time to do that, and learning goes beyond the classroom too. And he also taught me the importance of advocating for social justice. So that's kind of how I was always raised into, caring about social issues. And then my mom is a key mentor to me because she's always taught me to stay true to my values, values of integrity, fairness, open-mindedness, and trustworthiness. And I really do think that this is the core of, how society can become better. It always starts with yourself, establishing the values that are important to you and always staying true to them, whether it's convenient for you or not.
Mm-hmm. Very nicely said. I think both of your parents are going to appreciate that answer. Very sweet of you. We're actually at the 5th and final question for Yasmin Sallak. What gives you hope?
What gives me hope? I think, hope is a very important thing that actually prevents burnout. And so everybody should always, look for that hope in their life. And for me, it's seeing what good people are doing to make the world a better place. So there are a lot of issues in the world, but I try to focus more on, after seeing that there's an issue, I kind of shift my focus more to seeing what people are doing in order to fix those issues, seeing, how people kind of go out of their way of their, normal, comfortable lives to actually sacrifice for other people. So just seeing good people do good things. And then also young people give me hope. Young people are very inspiring, and, I would say especially, the Gen Z youth. I've noticed that they're a much more community-oriented group compared to older generations. They're very resourceful, and they do a really good job about speaking up on important issues. So they inspire me and give me hope.
Well, thank you, Yasmin. This has inspired me. I appreciate it very much. And
thank you for having me. And, I thank everybody behind the scenes of Common Table Foundation for organizing this.
well, thank you. And we'd love to chat with you more again another time. So really appreciate it. Thank you to Yasmin Sallak, and thank you everyone for joining this edition of 5 Questions on behalf of the Common Table Foundation. We'll see you at the next one. Thank you.